welcome to the More Than a Game podcast. My name is Dan Walls, and it's great to have you here with us, listening or watching, whatever you may be doing. Thank you for your support. First and foremost, it's great to have you along, and hopefully enjoy today's episode. And on today's episode, we've got a guy who I personally have a lot of respect for. He's played in the NBL, he's played all around the world. He's also played college basketball in the States, and it's an honour to have on the podcast today, Jeremy Kendle. Jeremy, welcome to the More Than a Game podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Dan.
No worries, mate. Let's chat about the injury first of all, because you've had a bit of a, period of rehabilitation. Did an ACL injury on your knee. So how's the knee holding up at the moment, and where are you at in terms of recovery?
Yeah, it's great. I've it's about I think nearly 14 months now since surgery. So yeah, I'm playing. I'm healthy. I'm fit. Strong. Physio's really happy. Surgeon's very happy. So we're heading in the right direction. And I'm really enjoying the challenge, both mentally, emotionally, and physically.
Yeah, sure.
Of the whole rehab. I think for me, it's more, I looked at it as training in the presence of an injury instead of rehab. And that's kind of been my take on it. And I've added things to my game and learned from being able to observe and, take more a coach's role and train a lot of players. So I've been a sponge this past, 13, 14 months.
That's good.
And it's been an awesome journey. It's been very challenging and frustrating at times, but, we're really happy with where I'm at the moment.
It's great to hear, mate. Good to hear it's on the coming back again. But let's go back to where it all started for you. Hopefully you get back playing again as soon as possible. I for one, hope you are. But you've had a great career so far, an unlucky career, one might say, in terms of injuries, but we'll come to that. How did you start playing the sport of basketball, and how did it all come about for you?
Yeah, for me, my dad put the ball in my hands at a very young age, probably 5 or 6. And being from Jeffersonville, Indiana, basketball is extremely, popular, and everybody plays. Everybody's got a ball. Everybody's got a hoop in their backyard or in their driveway, or at least a friend who does. And if that's not the case, then there's definitely a park, around the corner somewhere.
Sure.
So it's a part of the culture. I went to, my dad coached me all through my youth days, all the way up to about high school. I went to Jeffersonville High School, which is a very historic high school in Indiana for a basketball culture. And that was kind of it was kind of just ingrained in me from a young age.
Sure.
Played other sports as well, baseball, football. However, basketball was just so popular, and so you were so well respected, growing up, if you played ball and you were good at it. So it kind of just turned into a passion that I couldn't really resist,
Absolutely, mate. Well, we're a similar age, I think. 31. You're 31, aren't you? Or 30? 32. You're older. There you go. So we would have grown up around the same time, looking up to different people, no doubt. So for me, growing up, and for people my age, it would have been your Andrew Gazers, Shane Heal, guys I know you've had association with since you've come out here. But back in the States for you, who were the influences in your life apart from your dad? Who were the ones that you looked up to the most and tried to model your game on?
Man, as far as famous players, Michael Jordan was my favorite. Of course, he's MJ. So growing up in the, born in '88, growing up in the '90s, being able to see his last shot, being able to watch those championships. That's when I first kind of, started watching NBA basketball. It was Penny Hardaway and Michael Jordan.
Of course.
Mike was the best, and Penny had the commercials with Little Penny, and he was playing alongside Shaq, and they were like the dominant duo, for a few years there. And but even to take it back a bit further, for me personally, I loved Pistol Pete Maravich.
Yeah.
My
Great passer.
yeah,
Phenomenal
so
passer.
my dad, he gave me all the Pistol Pete ball handling drills, and I used to just do them every single day, and I had all the DVDs and all that sort of stuff. So
So good.
He is up there with MJ and Penny Hardaway as well.
Mm.
And then guys like Jason Kidd, Steve Nash,
Mm.
Jason Williams, White Chocolate.
Yeah.
There's plenty of them out there. And also for me too, I had tremendous coaching. Looking back, my fifth grade coach,
Mm.
like we're talking fifth grade, whatever age that is, that's like age 10.
Mm.
I had Robbie Valentine, who was a college national champion at Louisville University,
Mm.
and he was my fifth grade coach. And then my
Mm.
sixth grade coach was another Division II national champion for Southern Indiana,
Yeah.
Chad Gilbert.
Wow.
So they were kind of just starting their coaching careers, and then to even go even further, my high school coach, my senior year, Jimmy Jess and his staff was tremendous for me. And then Scott Davenport, my coach at Bellarmine,
Mm.
who's going to be in the Basketball Hall of Fame, I believe,
Wow.
eventually. Led us to a national championship in 2010-11. Coached under Rick Pitino and Denny Crum at Louisville. Made his way to Bellarmine, and Bellarmine now is going Division I next year.
Wow.
So I've had tremendous coaching, and I think that's another reason why I'm so fortunate and I'm where I'm at.
Yeah, for sure, mate. It's so important as a young guy. Absolutely. You mentioned good coaching. What for you makes a good coach? What's the ingredients that a good coach needs at junior level or even now professionally? Is there a difference between the two? What makes a good coach?
Well, I think number one, you got to know the game. You have to. There's a right way and a wrong way to play it, and you have to be able to teach it. I think nowadays it's teaching is a gift. And I think that's a big reason why so many great coaches come through the States, is because up until a certain year, and I know certain states it's still this way, but you were required to be a teacher if you wanted to be a high school head coach. So you had to learn how to teach, and then that translates to how you teach basketball, So being able to layer things out, understanding that not everybody knows what you know, being able to meet people where they're at. That's a great, another great element that you must have as a leader is it doesn't matter what you know. All it matters is that you connect with your follower who you're teaching, and you're getting the best out of them. So I think one, knowing the right way to play the game, and also characteristics that are contagious that your players are going to see, because people do what they see. And if you can model energy and effort, encouragement, enthusiasm, charisma, if you can sacrifice, if you can be connect with your players, I think those are in very important ingredients to leadership. Being able to connect with people and actually knowing, what you're leading people in. So, and also just having an eye for, I guess, players who are valuable. Your value system has to be. You have to understand like what you need. Being able to observe, and in recruiting, is not an easy gig. So you have to be able to kind of acknowledge someone who's a talent and say, does he have the right character that he's going to develop and work hard and be good for the culture? And also, like I mentioned to you earlier, the 3 C's, character, competence, and culture. And that's how I recruit by. And I think that's very, very important to have that type of value system.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I'll throw one more in the mix for you. Resilience. I think you need to have a lot of resilience as a player, but also as a coach. When I look at your career, I see it as one of resilience. That's one thing I admire about you. You've had a number of injuries. You keep coming back. You've jumped around in terms of clubs, but it's never stopped you from pursuing your goal and your purpose, I guess. So how important has that characteristic of resilience been for you in your life? And has it been something that you've been translating into everyday life as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think, at times throughout my career, well, I've always been, the underdog, and
Mm,
everywhere I go, it seems like even people close to me are saying what I can't do, or,
mm,
you need a plan B, or, um, they try to box you in and put you under this mold, and,
mm,
you're a point guard who shoots too much, or, you're a
mm.
point guard or a two guard in a one's body, or,
Yeah.
you don't shoot the three well enough. You don't like, there's all I hear it all the
Mm,
time. Every
mm.
time I go to a new level, there's new challenges and new doubters,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think it's important to, in life, not just basketball, but in life, be defined by your inner convictions rather than all she say. Um, because my value doesn't decrease because one person doesn't see my worth. My
Mm,
value comes from within.
mm,
And if I'm not convicted in what I'm pursuing, then sooner or later you're going to lose that zeal.
mm,
Something's going to get you off track.
mm.
And I think it's important for me, since I am an emotional human being, as we all are,
Mm,
being defined by my convictions rather than my emotions. Because a lot of times, when you have injury,
mm,
you can doubt yourself, you can become angry or bitter,
mm, mm,
um, you can really, lose your sense of purpose
mm,
because something's taken from you.
mm,
But it's been challenging, with all the injuries and staying resilient. But
mm,
again, like I said, I think the only thing people can't take from you in life is your convictions. They can,
mm.
steal the money out of your bank account. They can swipe your wallet from your
Yeah,
jeans. They can take your shoes off your feet.
yeah.
You know what I mean? They can, take whatever from you, but your
Mm,
convictions are, they're going to last.
it's
And
true.
that adversity, I think, just reveals character, and that resilience is something that you build over time, and it's
Mm,
painful.
yeah, yeah.
Definitely, it's painful, but it's
Mm,
worth it, because it's refining your character.
absolutely. Preacher, mate. It's great. What about, we mentioned convictions. I know for you, I was going to talk about this a bit later on, but for you, unashamedly, Christian, and very active in your faith in that regard. I had on the podcast a little while ago Jason Smith, who you may have heard of. I'm not sure
Yep.
any time met him. Yeah, he's a good guy, a man of faith himself. But I talked to him about having that sense of purpose outside of basketball, and that was so important for him to put life into perspective, I guess. When hardship came along or injuries hit, how important is it for you to have, first of all, your faith there on one hand, but also that greater sense of purpose outside of basketball as well? Has that helped when you've had injuries and that sort of thing?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Like, I think that is something that word purpose is, uh, it really, really is. It's shifting. It will shift an individual's mindset and perspective and heart, and
Mm,
just their everyday actions, their thoughts to their words to their actions. And you know, outside of Christ, for me,
mm,
um, I failed to find purpose in anything.
mm,
And without God, I think everything is justifiable.
mm,
But you put Christ in the picture, and now all of a sudden, you have justice, you have forgiveness, you have purpose. You have a love that's eternal. You have
mm,
all these characteristics that I think we're seeking,
mm,
and for that peace. You have a peace that surpasses all understanding, even when you're
mm,
not shooting the ball well, you're not winning games.
mm,
And That's been very, very monumental for me personally off the court as well as on the court. Not finding my identity and whether the ball goes in the hoop, like I just said, or if I'm getting paid X amount of money or minimum wage, or if I'm just a practice player, or if I'm a full-time, contracted player. It's bigger than me and it's bigger than basketball. So keeping that perspective it's definitely helped me have the right attitude despite, I guess, maybe being treated unfairly, maybe not getting the opportunity to the playing time that I felt like would have helped the team. Still showing up to work and still knowing I'm serving a bigger purpose than Jeremy Kendle's basketball career. And that really keeps me level, whether times are good or bad. It stays me on track, keeps me on the straight and narrow, and keeps me true to my convictions. So my faith in Jesus has definitely been foundational on and off the court.
Yeah, that was great, mate. We need it, that's for sure, especially at times like we're in at the moment. But you mentioned winning games. Even if you don't win games, you've got that sense of purpose. But you have won a few games in your time. Let's put it out there. In particular, when you're at college, you had a great college career. Excuse me if I'm saying this right, Bellarmine University. Is that right?
Bellarmine
University. So you won the first NCAA Division II championship for the university, where you were part of that team. And you're also selected in the NABC All-American team. So no doubt a career highlight for you and a great part of your life there. What was that like, playing college basketball for starters, but then winning that championship?
Yeah, for starters, playing in a good university with good leadership, around good people, that right there is the best 3 or 4 years of your life. And you develop so much on and off the court. You learn so much. You're a part of something, and again, it's bigger than yourself. And the culture is strong, and it's such a you have such a winning tradition like Bellarmine does now. That was an amazing experience. I would really recommend anybody who watches this podcast if they have an opportunity to go play college basketball, Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA, whatever it is, pursue it. Pursue it. It's definitely a special few years of your life. And then winning on top of that, winning always it always makes everything better.
That's right.
However, even I say this in all humility and honesty, even if we didn't win a national championship that year, it would have meant no different to me. The culture, the leadership, the guys that I was able to battle with, I still would have developed the same. So the whole winning thing, that's a byproduct of doing things the right way. That's a byproduct of working your butt off and having guys who can really rock, but also are willing to sacrifice for one another.
Yeah.
And that certainly was the theme of the season. And we broke every huddle saying trust. So
that's great.
And that wasn't just a word to us. That was a lifestyle. That was a way of not just the way we played basketball, but off the court as well. And that started from the leadership. Coach Davenport and his staff did a tremendous job, really instilling confidence in us and making sure that they held us accountable to playing the game the right way, playing for each other, playing hard, playing smart, playing together. And we did those 3 things, and we probably weren't the most talented team. I mean, we're pretty dang talented. We have Braden Hobbs, who's playing, EuroLeague now in Germany, and Chris Dow, who's playing, and I think his last contract was in Israel, and a few other pros on the team. But, we played together, and we fought for each other, and it was special. And, I just I would, if anybody has a chance to go to Bellarmine, who's watching this podcast, you better do it. Better do it. That's for sure.
Wish I could, mate. I'll be there in a heartbeat. But it goes to show what you said about the 3 C's, I guess, in terms of culture and competency, and what was the other one you said? Character. You said you had all that as a team, and you win the championship, so it does go a long way. But you also mentioned Europe there. A few of the teammates over there at the moment. You had a crack yourself over in Europe. That was your first contract, I believe, as a professional.
My first one was in Morocco.
Yep.
Yeah, my rookie season was in Morocco. Um, I was fortunate enough we won the championship my rookie
Wow.
season.
Yeah.
First time in the club's, I think, in 13 years for the club.
Hmm.
And then I went to Switzerland for
Right.
about 2 months. I played for San Massagno. It was in Lugano,
Hmm.
Switzerland.
Hmm.
Um, Had an injury. The club was losing. Really, to be quite frank, just a bad situation
Mm.
to be in.
Mm.
And I got cut.
Mm. Never easy.
Um, again, another situation where I was like, I felt like I was playing extremely well,
Mm.
and one of the most valuable players, if not the most valuable player on the team.
Mm.
And but we were losing. I got injured,
Mm.
and I was out of there before I even knew it. So and then I went back to Morocco for my second season and
Mm.
played for a team that hadn't been in the first league for a number of years, and we actually had a really good team there too, and went and lost in the championship, which was like a historic season for that club as well. So
Yeah.
turned out, well, and then I
Mm.
made my way to Australia, to
Yeah.
Toowoomba,
Yes.
2015.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my professional career, the first couple of years, how it started.
Before we jump into the Australian/New Zealand career, one question I forgot to ask you off the top is, for me, like I was at the 2000 Olympic Games and I was watching guys, like I said, Shane Hill, Andrew Gaze, Luke Longley playing for Australia, and I was 12, and I said in that moment, I want to be a professional basketballer. That's what I want to do for a living. Didn't quite make it. That's okay. I'm not bitter or anything. But was there a moment in your life where you thought, yeah, this is what I want to do for a living? Or did it just sort of transpire and come about like that?
Um, it's funny. Like I always thought I was going to be a professional basketball player,
Mm.
even from like my youth days. Like, man, we must have had I had a hoop in the driveway, I had a hoop in the living room.
Mm.
We had just everything. It was just you lived basketball
Mm.
where I was from, and my friend group was the same. Um, and so I always, and as probably maybe naive, obviously as a kid,
Yeah.
thinking, yeah, I'm gonna go play in the NBA and be
Yeah.
this superstar basketball player.
Mm.
But it wasn't until I was about 15 years old, to be honest, that I was nearly cut from the JV team by the head
Mm.
varsity coach.
Mm.
So it goes, freshman, that's first year in high school, grade 9,
Mm.
JV, and then varsity is the top team.
Mm.
Um, and I was really humiliated by the head coach. I was about 5'6", soaking wet.
Mm.
Um, and I still had baby fat. I hadn't even hit puberty yet. I
Mm.
hadn't even matured. I
Mm.
was a late bloomer, but I was very skilled, and I was actually pretty dang good
Mm.
compared to the players in my age group. But
Mm.
I had a terrible attitude,
Mm.
and I thought the world just revolved around me. And I got really humbled there that season, and that was a painful experience, being told that I'd never play varsity basketball by the head varsity coach in front of not just me and him in a room, in front of the entire JV and
Yeah.
varsity team after a game.
Far out.
It was very, very embarrassing, to be honest. And
Yeah.
from that moment, I actually, it hurt so bad that I think at the time it was probably anger
Mm.
and kind of bitterness that fueled.
Mm.
But I told myself, I'm gonna do something about this. Maybe I had to look in the mirror and say, maybe he's right. Maybe he's onto something. Maybe I'm
Mm.
not as good as what I think.
Mm.
And I was very fortunate. I worked my butt off that summer. That's
Mm.
kind of when I decided, like, hey, I'm gonna do the best I can to
Mm.
go as high as I can in this basketball.
Mm.
But it also helped that I grew 6 inches
Yeah, that always
that,
helps.
that summer. That sophomore to junior year, I went from like 5'6", 5'7" to
Mm.
about 6'1".
Wow.
And I showed up the next season, and the varsity coach is like, I can't believe I'm saying this. You're
Wow.
taking my height. You're
Yeah.
6'1", and I think that was that year. I think something changed within me,
Mm.
and I realized, like, man, I'm gonna have to really work hard if I want to be a professional
Mm.
basketball player.
Yeah, exactly. That's good, mate. It's good to hear about the attitude as well. It's so important for young guys coming through that you need to apply yourself and build that sense of resilience as well, which evidently you learnt. Let's go to the your Australian career now. You started at Toowoomba. You got a crack. Your first gig as a professional player in Australia was with the Brisbane Bullets. What was that like to get the call up, first of all? And second of all, how was that experience playing in a team that has such great history like the Brisbane Bullets?
I think for me, getting the opportunity to play at the highest level was special because, like I said, I played Division II basketball. I was always kind of overlooked by the Division I programs and really just rejected in a lot of ways. And, coming to Australia, the league, the NBL was really on the rise in 2015. It was kind of, Larry was taking over and started attracting some high quality, imports and that sort of thing. And the Aussies were getting better and, the Boomers were doing really good in international play. So just to be a part of it was special. Again, like I said, I'm pretty, I guess, grateful for the opportunity. But again, I feel like there's a lot of unfinished business for me personally. And I really feel as if, I have a lot to prove, but a lot to show. So hopefully, this year will be the year that I get my opportunity to truly show my worth. But yeah, it was a crazy story. I bought a one-way ticket to Brisbane.
Wow.
My Christmas Day. I left on Christmas Day, 2016. Wow. I just won the championship in Bendigo. And most valuable player. Had a great season there, and we had a great season as a team for a few months, and it was the Bullets' first season back.
Wow,
so so Cameron Bairstow tore his ACL. The club was losing some games, despite starting pretty good early on.
Still there, mate?
After I signed my contract, I actually tore my calf on the second or third day of training. Getting off the plane and it was so hot too when I first got here. I think it was the hottest January in Brisbane's history, so it seemed like, anyways.
Wow.
And it was like I said, it was cool being a part of the league and that sort of thing, but I really felt as if I had more to show. And it wasn't an ideal situation to walk into, but got the opportunity, and there was a domino effect from there. That got me my contract in Christchurch, playing in Mark Dickel. And then had a great season there as well. And then things kind of just kept rolling from there. But it's great to be a part of the NBL because it's really a sought after league right now. A lot of Americans are trying to get over here. That's for sure.
Absolutely, mate. It's booming at the moment. But had you heard of it before? Had you heard of the NBL back home before coming out here, or as a league?
No. I mean, obviously, if you follow basketball and you know how it all works, countries like the European countries, and I knew that Australia would have a solid top league, but I never knew anybody who played in it. I knew some pros that played in the state leagues, the Siebel, which now is NBL 1. Obviously, play.
You there?
Leagues in Europe, but I hadn't heard a whole lot of. But once I got here and got a chance to see some of the facilities and watch the games on TV a little bit, I was like, okay, yeah, this is it's pretty legit, and the competition is good. The level of play is pretty high. So, well, I definitely, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to want to play in the top league.
Right.
So.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Well, you did have another crack at the in the NBL after the Bullets with the Sydney Kings. You signed as a replacement for Kevin Lish, and I think that's when I met you for the first time when you were down playing for the Kings. You did have a solid time there. You only played a handful of games, but 6.8 points per game, 2.5 rebounds, 2 assists per game. Had some good stats there in the time that you did have. What was that experience like playing for the Sydney Kings and playing under Andrew Gaze, playing alongside Andrew Bogut at the time?
Bogues wasn't playing that year.
Oh, he wasn't there.
No, he wasn't. He was
Before.
there the year after.
Right.
But yeah, again, it was just a funky situation because me as a competitor, I'm trying to show the value I can add to a team. Now, in saying that, there's certain walls or barriers that you gotta kind of fight through at times, because there's this I guess stigma on me that I'm just a replacement type of player, or I'm just a backup point guard or shooting guard type of player for the NBL. And if you look at my numbers and you look at those numbers over 32 minutes per game like the other imports are playing, those numbers are comparable to the best players in the league, the Casper Wares and the Bryce Cottons and all this. So again, it was another situation like 18-19 Brisbane Bullets where I felt like I was dominating in practice. I was playing quality minutes when I got in the game, but I'm not given the responsibility and the freedom to really unleash the way I could have. And that's just the honest truth, and again, I'm the type of guy that I'm not going to go beg for playing time. I'm going to earn it. I'm not. And looking back, I probably could have had a meeting with this staff or that staff and been like, hey, I just think it's best for the team if I play a bit more. But that's I'm a Division II kid from Southern Indiana, man. I'm just it takes a lot of courage to talk to the Boomers coach that way, or Andrew Gay. These are the top of the top.
That's right. Yeah.
In basketball Australia. So maybe I lack the courage. Maybe I'm more old school. I just want to earn my keep. I want to show it by my actions rather than my words, and hopes and trust, that the leadership delegate responsibility according to what's best for the team. So it was a great experience. I loved the group that I played with in Sydney. Made some great connections again, and it was a great experience. And again, it was just a funky situation. I think I only played 6-7 games. Played well, but the team we weren't winning. And I was only playing about whatever it was, 12 minutes a game or whatever. So that's a bad combination for somebody who feels like they can give more to the team and they're as competitive as I am. But I learned a lot, and again, my character was refined and my convictions were shaped and molded and actually made stronger through that adversity and not getting what I wanted. I think that being able to regulate those emotions and channel them the right way is important in life. And I think without those opportunities and without that pain, again, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, for sure.
Absolutely, mate. So encouraging to hear you talk like that. But you mentioned Andre Lamanis there. You got the opportunity to play under him, and from what I hear from you hear interviews and some of the guys speak about the respect they have for him as a coach. What was it like playing under him during your time at Brisbane?
Yeah, like I said, like the first year, I kind of walked into a very tough situation because, like I said, Cameron Bairstow just tore his ACL, and it was the first year they were trying to do things with limited resource and staff. They were a first-year team, so there was a lot of things behind the scenes that probably boiled over
Mm.
that affected
Mm.
the playing group and the coaching staff.
Sure.
And again, like it was just another. I've been home for 3 4 months.
Mm.
I wasn't in game shape. I wasn't with a club.
Mm.
Um, and then I got there and I tore my calf, which made
Mm.
things even worse for me personally. And although
Mm.
I played okay, I had a couple solid games, but it's irrelevant when you're losing. You
Mm.
know,
Yeah, that's right.
uh,
Exactly.
it's irrelevant to people. You can average the numbers I did, and if we would have been winning,
Mm.
maybe another contract would have came from that. But when you're
Mm.
losing, it's different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was again a funky situation. I played, I think, 20 minutes a game or something,
Mm.
and I was not in great shape, and we were losing, so it was no
Mm.
fun.
Yeah, sure.
And they gave me some things, some feedback. The staff did, Dre did, on
Mm.
what I needed to improve on, and I took
Mm.
that, in a constructive way, and I worked on those things in New Zealand, and
Mm.
I shot in the 40 plus from three in New Zealand. That's something that they said, look, you need to shoot the three better
Mm.
to add value at this level. I average, I think my assist to turnover ratio was maybe 2.5 to 1, 3 to 1
Mm.
or something. Nearly led the league in points and assists.
Mm.
So I tried to do my best to do the things that they asked me to do,
Mm.
and that's out of respect for them and their knowledge
Mm.
and that sort of thing. So I got a lot from that. I learned
Mm.
a lot from them,
Mm.
and as I do, I try to learn and be a sponge, no matter the circumstances, whether it's a great situation to be in or not.
Mm.
I think no matter what's happening, you can always look yourself in the mirror and learn and develop.
Absolutely. That's it, mate. There's always situations and circumstances where you can learn from and apply that to life. But yeah, you mentioned New Zealand there. Not many people would know about the league over there and the state of the league. From what I understand, it's a pretty solid league. Maybe not to the level of the Australian NBL, but yeah, what's the New Zealand NBL like? And yeah, how does it compare in terms of the leagues you played in?
Um, yeah, it's solid. Look, it's again, small league, and there's only like eight or so teams when I was playing in it. So obviously a bit different format than what it is this season,
Mm.
because they did the draft and all that
Mm.
stuff. They're playing right now,
Mm.
over, I don't know, like 12 weeks or something,
Mm.
couple games a week. But um, the league was solid. It was a short season.
Mm.
You attracted some good talent, some quality imports because of how short the season was, and the pay wasn't, obviously you're not making millions of dollars in New Zealand,
Mm.
but the pay is pretty good for 3 4 months,
Yeah.
especially if you're building your career and you're
Mm.
trying to get your resume.
Mm.
So I would compare it to probably slightly better than the state leagues here,
Mm.
but still a far jump from the NBL, from
Mm.
the Australian NBL.
Mm.
Now you have teams, for example, Wellington Saints. The year I played,
Mm.
they went undefeated. They literally had an Australian NBL starting five.
Mm.
So Wellington normally, and Southland, they are the big money teams in
Mm.
New Zealand.
Mm.
So they attract some, probably the best New Zealanders, as well as 2 3 quality imports. So
Mm.
those teams can be, really, really solid.
Mm.
And in Canterbury, we've had some good teams the past few years, and Mick's doing a great job there now.
Mm.
Um, but again, it's a long ways away from the Australian NBL.
Mm.
But it's a fair quality league, and
Mm.
I would definitely encourage anybody to go over there and play for sure.
Yeah, yes, good league. You mentioned Canterbury Rams. There's a mate of mine over there, old family friend called Jeremy Kendle. You played for him. Did you get to meet Jeremy at all, or did you play with him at all?
No, I didn't play with him. No.
No, haven't heard of him.
Uh-uh.
Canterbury
What's his
Rams,
last name?
Kench.
Kench.
He
Jeremy
played
Kench.
for New Zealand Tall Blacks, so that's all right. He's
Maybe.
a
Yeah, I
fan
know I didn't
favourite.
play with him. I might have met him. when
Yeah,
I was over there, but
that's
I
right.
definitely didn't play.
Fan favorite, good guy. Anyway, we'll move on. um, from the Brisbane Bullets, you had the chance to play in the 3-on-3 comp. So, yeah, let's talk about that. First of all, with the NBL Pro Hustle League, and you won the comp from memory in that league. And then from there, you played for the US national team. This is where you did your most recent injury. Is that correct?
I didn't play for the U.S. national team. There was talk about how I could qualify for it.
Sure.
And I was going to actually try to pursue that if it came an opportunity. But I tore my knee in Penang, Malaysia, playing for the same team that I played with and won the Pro Hustles with
Gotcha.
here in
Okay.
Australia.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, the Pro Hustles are fun now. I grew up playing 3-on-3 in the summers. We played street ball at Community Park, Oak Park, all the parks in Louisville. There was always good runs every Saturday, Sunday morning, on the weekend, Sunday evening. And so for me, it was like kind of tapping back into that, those roots of I was raised playing ball, It was fast paced, music playing in the background.
Yeah.
It was real intimate atmosphere. Fans are on top of you. It's just cool environment. And with it being in the Olympics now, I think it just makes it so much more enticing for players to try to show their worth in it, because you have a chance to represent your country, which is always special.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mad love for 3-on-3 hustle. All those guys that are part of it, all my teammates, PC, all those guys.
Peter Crawford.
Peach,
We're going around.
Lucas Walker, Gibbo played in one of them. Timmy Conrad played with us over in Penang.
Yeah,
Harry Frawling, all those guys. We had some good teams, and it was definitely a fun weekend. And we got to make a little pocket change in the.
It's always helpful.
So it was good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. 1-on-1, 3-on-3, 5-on-5. I'm gonna back myself. But there was definitely a lot of freedom and a chance for me to really be creative and just have fun playing the game, which is what I needed actually at the time, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Chance to enjoy the game once again. Well, mate, you come in, not to the end of your career, but hit the old 30 marks. So in basketball terms, there's not that many years left in terms of professional basketball. But as you look to the future, obviously you said you want to play in the NBL. What would be the ideal scenario for you to finish off your professional career?
Ideal scenario. One, for a GM and a coach who believes in me.
Yeah.
And values me and sees my worth. I think that can be the greatest asset us human beings can sometimes obtain in life, is having people who believe in you. Especially in this career, Dan, is short. It's like a flash in the pan. Our lives are. So how much quicker and how much shorter is a basketball career, And you want to have those years where your leadership is valued, and you're significant in the eyes of those around you. So that would, hands down, if I don't have an opportunity that I feel is that, then I'll retire on the spot. Like it won't be hard. I want someone to believe in me and really back me. So yeah, playing here in the NBL with that. And I believe that with what we know now about sports science and diet and nutrition and load management and strength training and mobility, like, you can play at a really high level until you're 34, 35. And I think that even despite being post ACL surgery, I can do that. So I believe I have, 3 solid years left in the NBL as an import. I just got to get that opportunity to prove my worth.
Mm.
So hopefully that happens, and I play another 2-3 years, and then I know that after I'm done playing, 100% I'll get full time into running my business, or I'll get into coaching.
Yeah.
And I've been doing both of those now. Obviously, coaching was this is my first head coaching job for Southwest. It would have been this season. I did some coaching back at my high school between contracts early in my professional career. That was just as an assistant, and I've been running my business for about a year and a half, 2 years now.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely get into training. I just love it, man. Like, I just love it. Like, if for me, it's more blessed to give than to receive.
Yeah, it's good.
So if my career is done now, and I just start giving back to other players and coaching and teaching and leading them, then I'm content with that. And if that's God's will for my life, then I know that it's good, and it's definitely worth it. So, but I am going to try to pursue playing, and I'm in good shape now. I'm working my butt off to plow the fields and be ready for when that call comes, and for when God brings the rain, and
that's it.
Yeah, but I would definitely get into coaching after I'm done playing.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's awesome, mate. Well, I find hope there's a few more years left for you, and we do see in the NBL. So any owners or coaches listening to this, get on to Jeremy. Is the kind of guy that you want at your organisation. But just finally, you touched on it. I just wanted to talk about, just that business opportunity that you started up, but also how it looks in terms of retirement. So, there's a lot of players that struggle to transition into retirement, but it sounds like you're setting yourself up well for that. Can you explain a bit about what the business is, what it looks like, and how retirement could look for you, apart from what you just said about coaching?
Yeah. So Jeremy Kendle basketball, essentially, it's just skill development, skill enhancement, grassroots on all the way up to professionals. I'm just basically pouring out everything I know and believe about the right way to play the game to the players that I train. So I do a lot of, clinics and camps, but also I do some, individuals, small groups. I go into schools. Really anything to do with, if you want to learn some basketball, man, come on, I'll train you, It's not, I won't withhold from anybody. Whoever wants to learn, whoever wants to work, I'm willing to get in the trenches with them and work and learn from them as they learn from me. So really, I think that that element of basketball development here in Australia is lacking a bit compared to the States. So there's a big void. So there's opportunity there, but also, again, like I said, I just love people. I love basketball, and for me, I'm able to connect with people. I'm able to teach basketball through my business. And I'm able to mentor, younger players, and do things that, people did for me, when I was their age.
Yeah.
Believe in me, give me opportunities, mentor me, that sort of thing. And like I said earlier in the interview, I've had tremendous coaching, tremendous leadership all throughout my career, from even a young age all the way through. So I understand that success rises and falls on leadership, and I want to be able to help people become successful and do what I'm doing, travel the world to play the game that they love. I think it's a wonderful thing to be able to do that and provide for your family. And so I always want to use the game and never let it use me. And I think that this is just the next step, being able to give back to people.
Yeah. Well said, brother. It's great stuff. Next time you're in Sydney, let me know. I'd love a shoot around. Hopefully beat you. You never know. So
That'd be awesome, man.
Yeah, man. But no, we'll leave it there. Really appreciate your time. Been great to hear your story, mate. So thanks for joining us today, and all the best for trying to lock down that contract, eh?
All right, thanks, brother. I really appreciate you having me on, and look forward to chatting soon.
Sounds good, mate. Take care.
Yeah, you too, man.